Madam Speaker.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. I call the member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to thank Her Excellency the Governor for her address on the 3rd of May 2011. In this address, Her Excellency spoke of the expectations of this government which are rightly held by the people of New South Wales. I've taken on board the expectations of my electorate of Wallandilly and the people of New South Wales. I'm aware of the commitment I made to my electorate on the 26th of March this year when I was elected to the 55th Parliament of New South Wales. This is not a responsibility that I'll take lightly or for granted. I'm passionate about my electorate. I'm passionate about the people that reside in this unique area. I'm passionate about their concerns, their needs and their visions for the region. This passion is a feeling that I share with my constituents. In the lead up to the election, I made a commitment to visit every town, suburb and village in my electorate to talk to the residents about what is important to them and their community. The sentiments that continued to resonate from each meeting were clear. The people of Wallandilly want to change. I encountered strong emotions of anger and sadness in regards to the neglect that their communities had experienced during the past 16 years of the previous Labor government. Each township I visited had compelling stories of the disadvantage their community had faced as the previous Labor government failed to respect the needs and desires of this electorate. These emotions were expressed in Bargo, Buxton, Douglas Park, Wilton and Yandera, all towns which were continually deprived of sewerage over 16 years of Labor. These emotions were expressed in townships such as Warragamba and Picton, which desperately needed support in order to return their communities into the thriving localities they once were. These emotions were expressed in the desire for action to investigate the decline of the World Heritage listed Thurmey Lakes and the declaration of Rowell as a national park. However, these sentiments were combined with a continued pride for their townships and the Wallandilly region as a whole. The residents of Wallandilly know that their region is unique. The electorate of Wallandilly encompasses an array of different townships, stretching from rural townships such as Oakdale, Razorback and Tarmore, to suburbs within the areas of Campbelltown such as Rosemeadow and Bradbury, each town displaying a differing identity and defining characteristics. This government has and will continue to recognise the importance of supporting areas such as Wallandilly, which were unacceptably abandoned over the past 16 years. This government has already demonstrated this commitment within its 100-day action plan by delivering desperately needed and severely overdue support, resources and infrastructure. We have fast become the most active government in Australia and we show no sign of slowing down. My region has already seen the benefits of a government which is intent on governing for all people from all places without prejudice. It is a testament to our resolve that the Premier of this state is in fact the Minister for Western Sydney, and I take this opportunity to thank him once again for his commitment to our great region. I'm joined in this great chamber by two colleagues, Chris Patterson and Brian Doyle, both as passionate about the rebuilding process as I, and I reaffirm my commitment to working together with them for the betterment of southwestern Sydney. And I'm also joined in the Federal Parliament by Russell Matheson, the Federal Member for Macarthur. The Government will continue to deliver for New South Wales through our 5-point action plan, which will ensure the rebuilding and strengthening of the New South Wales economy, will see the return of quality services in areas such as health, transport, education and community safety. It will renovate infrastructure, restore accountability to government, protect our local environment and return planning powers to the community. Madam Speaker, I believe Her Excellency the Governor was correct when she described the 55th Parliament of New South Wales as a parliament with a spirit of optimism. I have faith in the ability of this government to draw on this spirit to incite positive change for my electorate of Wallandilly. Madam Speaker, this spirit of optimism, this spirit of perseverance our Governor speaks of is what binds the people of my electorate together. They share a view that we're all in this together and we will only prosper when we all work together. Wallandilly boasts some of the most active and selfless individuals I have ever had the pleasure to meet, dedicated individuals and organisations who freely give up their time for others. We're fortunate enough to have many Rotary groups working hard to raise funds for worthy causes, together with Lions International, the Tarmore branch, of which I visited recently for their changeover dinner. Madam Speaker, we have our local SES command in Picton, whose volunteers work tirelessly to assist those in all manner of situations. I take this opportunity to mention Alan Michel, Senior Deputy Controller, and thank him for his assistance and insight. We have our local Rural Fire Service Control Centre, together the many local brigades ready to defend life and property on a regular basis, often placing themselves in great peril to achieve their objective. This was hallmarked by the tragic bushfires during Christmas 2001, which devastated towns including Warragamba and Silverdale. But together, hand in hand, the people of Wallandilly have rebuilt, optimistic of their future. I take this opportunity to mention the Lopriados, the Gilmartins and the Lynches, to name but a few. I'll continue to work with you in your endeavours to conclude this matter and get the closure you so desperately seek. Madam Speaker, I'm a firm believer that to know where you're going, you must know where you have been. I've mentioned briefly some of the events in the past that have shaped my electorate, but looking forward, I see much more work that must be done. Social housing is a passion of mine and is an area that is desperate need of attention. There are over 40 streets in my electorate classified as containing Department of Housing accommodation. The Department of Housing provides a vital service to my community through its support of some of the most vulnerable members of my electorate. I tend to work alongside residents such as Uncle Ivan for the betterment of our community. Despite the positive work the Department produces each day in assisting these members of the Wallandilly electorate, this area needs to continue to receive attention by this government. I will continue to fight so that this focus is achieved. I will do so alongside my colleagues in this House who similarly share this passion, such as the member for Charleston and Newcastle, who is committed to strengthening the social housing services provided by this government. This need to support social housing initiatives can be placed in the context of a critical need to improve access to opportunity. Madam Speaker, an issue of constant frustration which hinders the access to opportunities of the people of Wallandilly, which was raised through the campaign and during my recent time in office, is that of transport. I was pleased to announce, with the then Leader of the Opposition, a reduction of train fares at the Campbelltown train station. This announcement was welcomed by the public in an effort to reduce the cost of living. But, Madam Speaker, cheaper tickets are no use when the trains do not operate on time, nor do they run often enough. You would understand my appreciation then when we announced 16 additional peak hour train services expressed from Macarthur to service the communities of the region. This was done in an effort to reduce travel times to and from work, allowing more time to be spent with family. I say this, Madam Speaker, because in my opinion, the time we spend with our family is of the utmost importance. This is not a view I alone hold. I'm sure it is held by everyone in this place, so when the Premier and Deputy Premier listened to my community and pledged an additional $12 million for safety upgrades to the dangerous Picton Road, I was incredibly grateful. Sadly, Madam Speaker, over 20 lives have been lost on this stretch of road. It is an issue I'm intimately aware of, and I thank this government for their support to improve this road and do all that we can to ensure that the residents of Wallandilly can travel safely. These are all steps that this government has taken already in order to ensure the improvement in access to opportunities for the people of my electorate. Madam Speaker, the University of Western Sydney Campbelltown, which is located within the electorate of Wallandilly, is a leading educational institution which has also been providing opportunities to the people of this region. Tertiary education plays a vital role in the growth and success of our region. Universities such as UWS provide the education and research that underpin the development and identification of issues that impact everyone. They equip people for a life in the corporate world, the public sector and not-for-profit organisations. Madam Deputy Speaker, my decision to study a Bachelor of Laws at UWS Campbelltown provided me with the opportunity to be taught by some of the best and brightest academics in this country. It is a university of international standing and is a source of creativity and knowledge that will contribute to both individual and community development. Although institutions such as UWS Campbelltown currently provide the electorate of Wallandilly with vital opportunities, I remain committed to extending the opportunities available to the people of Wallandilly. Previously, I mentioned the taxing nature of extended travel time on the people of my electorate. One additional way to combat this problem is to create more employment-generating lands to increase job creation, to allow the 70% of residents in Wallandilly who travel outside the electorate for work a different option. It is vital, though, to ensure that this is done with the appropriate level of community consultation and that Council have a say on approvals. Failure to do so would see overdevelopment and poor planning, such as the case with the Macarthur Gardens estate. Madam Speaker, I have been opposed to this development from the start and take this opportunity to restate my objection to this development again. We must ensure we retain one of the greatest assets as an electorate, the environment in which we reside. And I thank the Premier for his stance on making Rowell a national park, and I thank Minister Parker for her recent visit to the site. Madam Speaker, declaring Rowell a national park to preserve the pristine waterways, local fauna and flora is one of the greatest gifts we could give to our future generations, and is one that I'm committed to delivering on. Madam Deputy Speaker, another achievement of this Farrell government is the passing of the Destination New South Wales Bill, which will establish a statutory body to market and promote New South Wales and double tourism expenditure by 2020. Madam Deputy Speaker, during the election, we made a promise to introduce this bill to capitalise on the tourism market and put New South Wales back on the map. We set an aggressive target and, as promised, we introduced the bill within our first 100 days. The introduction of this bill is a vital step in rebuilding the New South Wales economy, as tourist consumption in New South Wales contributes close to $29 billion. This means more jobs, more reinvestment and a healthier physical position. This will benefit each and every one of our electorates across the state. Furthermore, this government has seen the benefit of joining Tourism New South Wales with Events New South Wales. A move aimed to correct the disjointed and uncoordinated administration under those opposite. This will see the budgets, knowledge and expertise become consolidated into one entity designed to better promote not only the state's well-known attractions, but also some of the rural attractions that we all know and speak about. Those attractions, often found outside of the city, are steeped in our state's natural and historical beauty. Many of these are found in my electorate of Wallandilly, attractions waiting for a coordinated and holistic statewide approach, but with a local focus. A local focus that will see sites such as Warragamba Dam better utilised, so the public can learn its vibrant history and experience its beauty. The township of Warragamba has suffered over the past decade due to the inability and unwillingness of Labor to commit to the real needs of this township. This is a township that was once able to pride itself as a major tourist destination in the region, yet the closure of Warragamba Dam saw an end to this prosperity. A local focus will enable the government to work towards returning this prosperity to a township that is central to the history of not only the local region, but also to the Greater Sydney region itself. Madam Deputy Speaker, a local focus that will further recognise the significant contribution local families such as the MacArthurs played in the farming industry, pioneering the famous rhodolacta and their work with the merino sheep. A local focus will ensure Marlborough Park continues to provide a unique venue that can service the needs of the business community. Currently, Marlborough Park Farm holds a number of international delegations and conferences. Under Destination New South Wales, a coordinated approach would see the continuation of such services with a more strategic focus. A local focus that will capitalise on the heritage buildings in Appin and help promote its rich 200-year history and the role that has played in shaping out our region. Madam Deputy Speaker, I seek an extension of time.
The member requests an extension of time. All those in favour, please say aye.
Absolutely.
Are those against, say no? Carried.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. A local focus that will once again see the beautiful streets of Picton bustling with tourists to stimulate the local economy. The township of Picton is currently home to a variety of small businesses which greatly rely on the local community in order to survive. They include an abundance of cafes, including R Coffee & Co, run by barista extraordinaire Ryan Tierney, and the Come By Chance Cafe, to name but a few. Just outside the township, you can find the Common Ground Bakery and Pizzeria that is nestled in the foothills of Razorback. These businesses have the potential to thrive with support from the government and an increase in the flow of tourism. You see, Madam Deputy Speaker, Wallandilly already has the tourist destinations. Many of them have been there for a while. They are simply waiting for initiatives such as this to promote them. This is the case with a little town isolated from the rest of my electorate after a flooding of the Burragrang Valley, a town known as Urandering. Once a mining town, you would be hard-pressed to find a town with richer history than this. I'd like to see the passage open on a more regular basis to this town of a couple of residents from my electorate, and indeed across the state, come through Wallandilly on their way to this famous mining town. And of course, Madam Deputy Speaker, Thirlmere is home to the once Great Lakes, renowned for their skiing and fishing and its World Heritage listing. I'm proud that this government has agreed to a cross-portfolio inquiry into the decline of these lakes so they can once again draw tourists to the area to experience their beauty. Just up the road, we have the B&Bs owned and operated by the Thomas family. The French provincial-style retreat, headed by Sue Thomas, features period-style sweets and gourmet food. Sue and her family are kind enough to open their doors on a regular basis to charities to stay free of charge. Tourism is vital to my electorate, and these towns and attractions are just a few of the multitude of tourist sites across my electorate that have been untapped, under-resourced and not sufficiently supported during the past 16 years of Labor. And that, Madam Speaker, is the difference. The previous Labor government did not listen to the needs of these communities as voiced by the residents. This government has and will continue to listen to the communities themselves and subsequently deliver what is necessary to ensure that tourism is increased within these areas. During my election campaign, I held a Start the Change tour within my electorate. This tour took me across Wallandilly over 3 days, visiting every town, village and suburb in the electorate. During this tour, I was able to see firsthand the immense beauty of the electorate of Wallandilly and the untapped potential for tourism. Talking with local residents at each of these locations, I was confronted with the recurring theme of a desire and need for tourism to be increased within these townships. These towns are filled with residents who are passionate about where they live. They know that what Wallandilly has to offer, and they want to share this beauty with the region. However, they need support of our government to put in place the infrastructure and funding assistance in order to make these aspirations a reality. This is what our government is committed to providing. You see, Madam Speaker, this is the difference between our side and those opposite. We understand the value of small business and we understand the benefit of initiatives that assist, not hinder them. Destination New South Wales will see a whole-of-state approach reinvigorate the tourist dollar that is so vital to the success of our rural towns. A coordinated approach has seen this government pledge $5 million next financial year to rural and regional tourism businesses to enhance the quality of their tourism experience and products to attract more visitors. And I also commend the Minister who's in the chamber this evening. This $5 million is an additional to the extra $40 million over the next 4 years to support the work Destination New South Wales. I look forward to working with the Minister and the statutory body, as it will not only provide benefits for the state of New South Wales but also to my electorate of Wallandilly. Madam Speaker, our Governor stated during her address that it's the government's objective that well before the last of the 1,426 days of this parliamentary term, commitments are delivered. True to these words, our Premier has already delivered for this state in his first 100 days, but there's still more to be done. Campbelltown Hospital, the beneficiary of our election commitment of over $40 million of funding from our Health Minister, is in desperate need of upgrades. I thank the Health Minister for her commitment and look forward to working with her to improve the level of health services in the Wallandilly electorate. Madam Deputy Speaker, election commitments made during the election campaign for the people of Wallandilly include sewage connection to Bargo, Buxton, Douglas Park, Wilton and Yandera, $12 million safety upgrades for Picton Road, $15.4 million for the widening of Narellan Road, tourist signs for Picton and Warragamba, investigating the need for a second high school in Wallandilly and upgrades to Picton High School, flashing lights for Thurmere and Mount Hunter Public Schools, $40 million upgrade to Campbelltown Hospital, which I've spoke of already, 100 new beds and 25 more nurses for our local health district, the widening of the M5 from Camden Valley Way to King George's Road, 16 extra peak hour trains from Macarthur to the city, free entry to Mount Ellen Botanical Gardens, which already happened in the first couple of weeks of the FRL government, and I was proud to be there with the members for Campbelltown and Camden. Madam Speaker, additional commitments made during the election which we've delivered on is scrapping Part 3A of the Planning Act, giving local councils the flexibility to reduce election costs so more money can be spent on local services. And of course, I've already spoke on establishing Destination New South Wales to promote tourism across the state to stimulate the economy. Opposing Labor's carbon tax, and I note that many people from the Wallandilly electorate attended the rallies in recent times, and such is the sentiment in my community. People are very angry about what that carbon tax will mean for the people of Wallandilly. We've also got tough on graffiti. Madam Speaker, it's true that there is much more to be done, many more constituent cases to resolve, many more projects to be delivered, and countless bills to be introduced to this House. But Madam Deputy Speaker, on the 26th of March, I gave the people of Wallandilly a commitment that we would work hard for our area, and today, as our Parliament continues in this, I think its third session, I reaffirm this commitment together, and only together we will prosper. Thank you. I move the debate. Yep. Madam Deputy Speaker. Madam Deputy Speaker, I move that this debate now be adjourned.
The question is that this debate now be adjourned. All those in favour say aye. Aye.